Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of the Blockchain Developer Weekly Digest. Well, this is the week where I must say yo, because Vitalik was dropping all the rhymes and all the beats in Australia. This week is going to be very interesting. I'll try not to rap too much, but we're going to see things about zero knowledge, news from Truffle, and of course news coming from Zero Exert with very interesting knowledge and technique for testing contracts live on the mainnet. So let's get started, Doc. Truffle has released actually two things this week. First thing is Truffle version 5.0.12. And there is different enhancements on the CLI. If you try to place a breakpoint on a point that is either a variable declaration or a blank line, it is going to automatically advance your breakpoint to the next meaningful place. And when you try to unbox the Truffle box in a directory that is already has some contents inside, is going to ask you whether to override it or cancel this action. Second thing coming from Truffle this week is the introduction of Truffle Teams. Truffle Teams is a continuous integration solution which pretty much allows you and your team to have a seamless workflow when you can have like compilation and testing environment to be done together for the whole team. So it's a continuous integration for blockchain projects. And this was from Truffle. And getting into ZK, we have two news from two different ZK working companies. First, let's start with the great company of Ident3. They have released a new library called Websnark. Websnark is written in WebAssembly and pretty much allows you to generate proofs in your browser, regardless whether it's your desktop browser, whether it's your mobile browser. Through Websnark, you're going to be able very efficiently, very fast generate proofs. So this is now going to enable various projects to be doing things like authentication, voting, or everything that you want to use your ZK for through your browser. You'll be able to do it very quickly through Websnark. So if you're into ZK, test Websnark and of course contribute to the open source code that it is. And the other news that's related with ZK is coming from Zokrates, and Zokrates has released a new version. I believe it's 0.4.4, and it includes elliptic curve cryptography now into the language of Zokrates. As you know, Zokrates is pretty much a toolbox for working with ZK snarks. It allows you to generate proofs, witnesses. It has its own language for specification of circuits and what actually the ZK challenge does. So with this new version, you can actually use elliptic curve cryptography, which is a great improvement, because now you can do very interesting things like proving that you know a private key of a certain public key without disclosing it. And with the resource that you're going to see in the description, is pretty much a nice transition between this section of libraries and tools and the next one with knowledge sharing, because the resource is actually a tutorial that is not only showcasing the new release of Zokrates, but is actually a tutorial showing you how you can prove that you have a private key to a certain public key, but also tied to your identity, and also guarantee that only one party can 100% be sure that when they receive certain proofs that they are coming from you. It's very interesting read. It opens up a whole host of possibilities. It has nice mixtures between ZK, between signing different messages, between putting traps inside the ZK challenge that you are building. So Make sure that you check the new version of Zokrates and see what's in this tutorial, because I think you're going to get very good ideas about the things that you can do with ZK and Zokrates. And last but not least, another tutorial that has been very interesting to me and made quite a big impression on me comes from ZK Cert, and it's called Testing Smart Contracts Live Without Spending Gas. So pretty much in this tutorial it is explained, and they are given a couple of techniques about you being able to test your mainnet smart contracts in addition or as a substitute to you doing your unit testing. And I advise you to this to be addition, not a substitute. You can pretty much use and leverage these techniques in order to test your smart contracts that are on any network, but most importantly on mainnet, because you're going to be spending real money there. So the things and practices that you can learn from these tutorials are pretty much you can use estimate gas, you can use singleton transaction pattern, and you can use stubs and artifacts. So I'm not going to go into much detail about any of these. Go ahead, read the tutorial, and you're going to learn a bunch. And with this, I think it's time to conclude this series. As you can see, this week hasn't been that eventful. However, there are still many things that you can learn and you can utilize from the things this week, like ZK, like the news from Truffle, like the live mainnet testing. As usual, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, send me your suggestions, send me any improvements, feedback that you have for me, and subscribe to our channel so that you are pretty much up to date every time that we upload a video, and just keep building. See you soon.